It's man.
It's Christian.
Here sitting at the grandma table. Another day, another dollar.
Yeah, for sure.
How you been living, man?
Living?
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, that's it.
Living good, finding out what work, what don't work, you know what I'm saying?
So I already told you the topic, so I'll just introduce it. Because the audience can see the title, so they know. But basically, I was sitting out. I had got my Chinese food earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got my water. And I went and I didn't eat in here earlier. I actually ate outside.
Mm-hmm.
I was out at the Rosewood Park. And I was out there chilling, just listening to nature. Got my water, got my food. It was a dude out there with his son, white dude out there with his son.
Mm-hmm.
After he left, it was a black dude out there with his son. It was a dude jogging. Dude and his mom out there. And of course, I was out there. It was just nature out there. And I was like, you remember when I told you the other day about how I just prayed, just thinking, like,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like, shoot, I'm just thankful for all that I got. I was thinking about that out there. And I came to the conclusion, I was like, I kind of owe it to life to be happy.
Yeah.
Like, what am I not happy about? Like I said, like, it's like I go home and I got a roof over my head. I got running water. I got clothes on my back. You know what I mean? I got plenty of books. I always have light, electricity. I got all of this. I always got food. I got a car. I got the opportunity to go make money anytime. I got a job on top of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what I think. And this is why, because I was like, I found myself when I was saying that about owing it to life to be happy.
Yeah.
I found myself saying, I don't want to be happy because I don't want it to be, I don't want this to, like, I got to be careful with that because I don't want this to be where I max out at.
Mm-hmm.
And in the back of my mind, I sat there for a second while I was outside and I just thought about that thought. And I was like, that's our problem. Like, we think happiness is the end goal. We think happiness is we think we can't be happy until. We think we can't be content until.
Yeah.
We think we can't be fulfilled until. We think that comes with a lack of striving.
Mm-hmm.
We think that comes with a lack of determination, a lack of purpose. Like, at the end of this life is when you're finally supposed to feel content. That's when you're finally supposed to feel happy. That's when you're finally supposed to feel fulfillment. And it's like, I think that prevents a lot of us from ever actually living our lives.
Yeah.
You see it with the people that's workaholics, where it's like you got the people that work a lot because they want to provide for their family, and then you got the people that work a lot because they want to provide for their family, and they end up ignoring their family in the process.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was thinking about this when I was thinking about some of the people I know, where it's like, you got some people that may not have a lot of money, but they're still rich. They're rich in health.
Mm-hmm.
They're rich in family. They're rich in love. They're rich in
soul.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have their sight. They have, like, we can find plenty of things to be rich in, and yet we always focus on what we don't got.
Yeah.
And we kind of move that over when we're talking about happiness, where it's just like, we act like happiness is just the end all be all to where that is where we're gonna max out. We're gonna max out once we're happy.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from coming from the bottom and being so unhappy and attributing that unhappiness with our determination.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, for sure. I think that comes from lack of knowing how to be happy on the go. Like
Put that down.
you can't or let me say, we feel like while we're in the middle of striving for something, because we always talk about the small victories and how we need to take a moment and celebrate those, but why do those only have to be a moment? Like when if you're striving towards a goal and you're one step closer, even if it's a small step, why can't you just look back and say no? Like, because tomorrow's not promised to anybody. So if tomorrow's not promised, why today can't you live like right now? Today, I'm the happiest that I've been my entire life. If I get a tomorrow, then great. I'm gonna give it my best shot. I'm gonna go strive for more, strive for better. But today, no, today was a great day. Today, I'm happy with what I have and how I look at the life that I have. But I think that comes with, you got to be able to, proverbially speaking, you got to be able to look in the mirror and be happy with who you are and where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Like because everybody want more. You know what I'm saying? But what's gonna fuel you? Because if you determined to, you know what I'm saying, if you determined to keep going and keep pressing on, and but you determined to do that because you want more things, or you want more money, or you want more, you know what I'm saying, you want something else, but you're never taking time to actually sit in, life's pretty good right now. If you never willing to sit in that arena, when will you ever be? Because you I think you have to use that as like what do I want to say? The happiness you have now gotta kind of become your fuel and your motivation and your fire to keep trying to, because what's wrong with stacking happiness on top of happiness on top of happiness? Like you don't have to just get that certain number in your bank account and that's when you'll be happy. You can just be happy that you ain't had a late bill in 3 months until you get to the next thing and to the next thing. Because if it's always gonna be, I mean, that's cool, but and you saying it in a way where it's like, I mean, that was that little time period. That was you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, because at a time and point, you weren't happy right there. You weren't even there yet. You know what I'm saying? You were still trying to get there. And at that point in time, you was real unhappy with. You was real tired of yourself. You was trying to change. So it's like, no, you gotta live every day of life like it's your last. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know. So why not be happy on your quote unquote last day? You know what I'm saying? Or at least the day that you know what I'm saying, you woke up for. Why not be grateful because you got a roof over your head? Why not be, you know what I'm saying? Why not walk around with a smile on your face because you're able to sit out and eat in nature, and you know what I'm saying? Or like, the way I look at it is if you can list everything that you don't like about what's going on in your situation, whether it be circumstantial or it's like something you feel like you need to change to be better, but you can end all of that off with, okay, but at least put a smile on your face. Like, somebody don't even have an at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been dealing with that too. Like I said today, like I was outdoor dashing, and you know, and I was upset with myself because I was like, bruh, it don't have to be this hard. Like, I don't have to find myself in this situation every time I need some extra money or anything like that. I should be able to be in a position where I'm not out at 9 p.m. door dashing, trying to hurry up and get a certain amount of money. And this should really be my funnest time, getting to ride around, look at different stuff. I'm out of the house, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at, well, dang, the money, the gas, the time that I'm not at home, and I gotta get up and I'm looking at all that. But then I said, well, at least the bill getting paid. I got a car. I still got some money to put gas in, and I'm about to go home. That made me go, well, stop focusing. Like, it was like a thought just said, well, stop focusing on, you know what I'm saying? Like, you about to be out the car in a second. I know you probably tired of driving. I know you probably, you know what I'm saying? But it's about to come to an, it don't have to be where I stay at for the night, for the next minute, for the next hour. Because if happiness come and go, because life just, life do what life do. I've made it clear to myself, I'm gonna enjoy when I feel like, I'm not gonna wait on whatever's coming to come and then I look up and go, well, I was happy when. No, I'm just gonna be happy, and you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be happy that I'm living in good health and nobody around me is, you know what I'm saying, depressed, and nobody that's in my circle is dealing with certain issues, and even if they are, they finding a way through it. Well, if we all find a way through it, we can be happy finding a way through it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to stay where the circumstance put you at.
It's like, do you think that based on what you've read from the Bible, would you say that God is a God of lack?
Explain what you mean.
Like, in God's word, does he focus on what we don't have? Like, does he focus on the little stuff? Because, like, for me, every time I see God, especially in the Old Testament where he's talking to the nation of Israel, he's telling them, like, I'm gonna bless you with richness, and I'm gonna have you in a land full of milk and honey, and you know what I mean? Like, when Jesus is around, he's talking about how you're rich with righteousness and you're gonna have everlasting life. And like, every time I hear God speak, he speaks in terms of abundance. I don't ever see him, like, the things that he lacks are not things of value. No way.
Yeah.
He don't talk about things of no value.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, sin is negative value. It takes away the value. So he doesn't even, like, those things don't matter. Everything that he provides is just value.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at what you don't got, if you're looking at the negatives that are literally subtracting the value, what God are you serving?
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? Like, I think we got to take a look at that, and we got to ask ourselves, okay, who is my master right now? Like, what am I locked into? What am I focusing on? Where am I at mentally, where it's like, who am I walking after?
Yeah.
If I'm sitting up always talking about how poor I am and how I need more of this and I need more of that. And don't get me wrong, like, especially in America, there's a level of comfort, you know what I'm saying, apply even to those who don't have a lot, but there's a whole another level applied to those with a lot. And I understand striving for that, but I'm saying, like, but you haven't missed a meal.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
But you have a roof over your head, but you have running water. Like, these are the things that it's like, it seems like such simple, and you know, I hear all the time people march for this stuff and say these are basic human rights, and it's like, but they're not.
No, yeah, you
Like,
don't have.
you know what I'm
You're not
saying?
guaranteed. You're not like you very well could not have some of this stuff, and the world will not care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
And
not.
it's like we can talk about whether it should be or shouldn't be, but
It
we
is
gotta
is
stop
the
talking about what should and shouldn't be. We gotta start talking about what is, and when stuff is not, we need to make tangible, actual strides towards something else.
mm-hmm.
But when we're in the middle, when you're fortunate enough to be in the middle, like you may not be on the top end, but you're not quite at the bottom either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? I never had to have hand-me-down clothes.
Yeah.
I never had one pair of shoes that I wore to school every day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are kids that actually live this type stuff in the areas that I lived in. So I can talk about everything we didn't have, but like, look at everything we did have. I have the opportunity to go eat outside at a nice park.
Yeah.
It's some kid that like they can't find a park, or like they're in the middle of war,
They might not have
or
food.
you know
Like-
what I mean? I get to get my food, and I get to go outside and eat in a nice park, and then I get to come home to my comfy bed and take a nap. Like, yes, I can have more, but in terms of the world's view, I am extremely blessed, and I won't say the only way, because you can definitely get there other ways. The best and most fulfilling way to get there is to acknowledge all that God has blessed you in and walk in that and use that as the fuel.
Yeah.
You have to use the positive as the fuel. And I get it. Coming from where we come from, our first reaction is to use all the negative as the fuel. And I'm guilty of this. The whole reason I even got to come to this realization is because my whole life I've been using the negative as a fuel. And you know what I told myself? You kind of got to. You kind of have to. It's kind of impossible not to use the negative as the fuel. And it's like, yeah, it is. Like, you can do it without the negative.
Yeah.
You can be just as effective, if not more effective, without the negative fueling it.
You can look at where you're sitting at. Sit there. You can be happy to sit there. Be glad. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can look at it and say, yes, okay. If I look at where somebody else is sitting at, they don't have everything that I got. I'm blessed. And you can also say, because I'm blessed, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to use this to my advantage. I'm going to, like, you can actually look at the negatives of the world and say, okay, I'm not in a position, so because I'm not in a position, I'm a catapult. I'm a go. I don't have to worry about some of this stuff. I don't have to worry about my next meal. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to deal with my water might not run. I'm not going to take this stuff for granted. I'm going to take advantage of having the little, quote unquote, that I do have. Because you understand and appreciate, you're not going to really appreciate when you go get more if you don't value what you have. You're not going to be able to say, okay, well, my annual income just went up $10,000. You're gonna say it how I just said it. My annual income just went up $10,000. It's like, you know, some people don't see $10,000 ever, right? They live as long as you, and it's let's say we all live to 70, 80, 90. It's somebody in your age gap, in your age window that's never gonna see the amount of anything that you done possessed throughout all your life. So don't sit up talking about how, "Oh, I just never got where I wanted to be." Somebody never got to where you was at. Somebody never got a few levels down from where you was at, because they started even lower than that and they never got from there. So it's like, don't sit around worrying about what it is. Like I said, I'm not saying don't strive for more, but you strive for more from a content heart, from a
I heard you talk about it, bro. I remember you saying this not too long ago where you were like, I know I'm blessed, so what do I look like not taking the best of that?
you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you got to start looking at everything. Bro, my mama's still living. I gotta go.
That's why I told you when I said I divorced from that idea of having to take care of everybody. I know I talked about it in other episodes of the podcast, but I started to realize, like, yo, like, as much as I'm talking about, how could I be thankful for my life and look at my sister, for example, who's living the same way right now, and say, well, I was thankful for my life, but I need to do something because they lives just, if they living like that, I need to make sure they lives better. And it's like, I mean, while that's a noble and a lofty ambition, and I'm glad, Maya, that you want to make the lives of the people around you better. I mean, what does your sister lack?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know it's not the easiest. I know it's not as comfortable. I know it's not as, for your mom and them. But, like, every time you get to saying that and every time you get to telling her, I'm going to do better, she just keep telling you, what are you stressing for? We ain't not 8. And it's like, nah, you got to take that. Like, you got to understand it is noble what you're saying, but it's, and I feel like this is God talking to me where he's telling me, like, he's trying to lead me in this direction where it's like, it is noble what you're saying. Just make sure you're doing it my way.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're doing it under the guise of how I want you to do it. Just make sure you're looking at it from the perspective that you always know, yes, I want more, but the Lord has given me everything I have, and look at how much I have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a reason that one of the quotes that's done been beat in my head is, if God don't do nothing else, he done did enough. Because you look at it and you break that down and you say, oh, so I didn't even deserve what he did. If I ain't deserve what he did and he did all this, who am I to sit up and talk about how, I didn't have a chance that they did? Like how crazy would it really look, me sitting in a blessed position talking about how I didn't have what they had because somebody in a higher position than me?
Ain't that covenant?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in a higher position than somebody else, and I'm sitting there going, from my position, I didn't have what somebody else had. If I would have had what they had, I would have been. We all didn't have to have life.
And that's when you start to appreciate it, when you realize that. Yeah. When you realize, we were having this conversation off air the other day, and it was like, bro, if Jesus didn't give that thumbs up, bro, like, if Cuz came down here and said, nah, I don't mess with them down here, bro, none of this would have even been
for us to be sitting up talking
about. Because the wages of sin is death, like God said in the book. It's in Genesis, bro. The day you eat of this fruit, you shall surely die. As soon as their lips touched the fruit, they were supposed to die. It was supposed to be over with. It wasn't supposed to be no more human race. But it was the grace that allowed us to keep going. And it was him dying that allowed us to be free from the wages. We don't have to. This is how I put it when I was thinking about it earlier. Like, God valued Jesus so much. He made him pay the actual debt for all of us, and we just get to hand him some chump change and be good enough to get in. It's like if the movie theater charged $10 for the ticket and we say, here go 50 cents, and yet we still get to go in, we still get a ticket. That's the immense.
And I'm going to tell you right now, life is the greatest movie.
The greatest. And it's like, bro, like being able to be a part of this, but not only just being able to be a part of it. Like, what I felt when I was outside earlier, bro, it was almost like a sadness inside me. And it was a remorse for ever feeling like I didn't want to be here, because I felt like I said, man, it's a kid right now. Like, all he hear around him is gunshots and bombs blowing up all day. And here I am sitting at a park eating and got these dads with their kids beside me playing on this playground, and I can hear the birds chirping. I see the blue skies, and I'm looking at all the trees, and it's all these different trees in the same area, where it's just like all these different trees are in the same area, and like they're not, like, some of them are not man planted. Some of these trees are just in the same area, but they're different sizes. They're different leaf structures. They're different. Like, you look at life and you look at it and you're just like, man, this shit is wonderful. This shit is amazing. And I'm sorry for cussing, because I said I wasn't going to cuss no more. But
it's a work in progress.
You get to the point where it's like, you look at your life and you say, man, every day is like Friday.
Yeah.
And we
talked
about striving there, and it's like, I remember telling you, and this feels so surreal to have this conversation, but I remember telling you, you know, you're not as far off as you think from every day being like Friday. And I look up and I'm there, and I'm just like, you know, I'm on PTO right now, and it's like, this has been the most wonderful week I've probably ever spent in my life. Like, I'm realizing, man, I have so much, and I am so freaking happy. Like, I am so freaking good in my life.
You're on a week where, without physically getting up and going to your job, you're getting paid.
That is such a blessing. Like, that's such a like, it's people that could never do that. You know, and it's like, we can talk about how much we dislike and how annoying, and how I see people talking about how much they hate their jobs, and I'm just like, nah, man, like, I couldn't hate what I'm doing. I got an easy job. I'm getting paid $50K a year to do nothing, to do something that's too easy for me. I got plenty of brain power to come back in. You know what I mean?
Two things. One, I think you get here when you acknowledge, I'm still here through tons of people that aren't, through tons of pain that done put people in places where they thought they shouldn't be, to the point where they actually took themselves out of here.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm part of the plan.
Yeah.
Like, realize, like, no, for me to wake up every day and survive through all this.
Yeah.
This daily fight to just live the life that I live. I'm part of the plan.
Yeah.
Wake up knowing you part of the plan.
And that's just wonderful when you say it, though.
Because you don't control whether you part of the plan or not.
You don't control the fact that there's a plan, my guy.
You don't control how long you part of the plan, how big your role is in the plan. You don't control any of that. So when you wake up, it need to be, wait a minute, I'm still part of the plan. I can get up and I can go about my business in his plan. How do I have business in his plan?
Dude, and the crazy part is, if you don't feel like you're part of the plan, that can change overnight. I was watching a dude that I watch on YouTube, right? Because I broke my media fast. And dude was talking about how he was like, you know, if you look at me and you don't see, and you've been watching me and you don't see the kid who was in and out of trouble, in and out of jail, this, that, that's a testament to how much God done worked on me. And I really sat there and I said, I hear you talk about that, bro, but I could never really see that from how you carry yourself and what you talk about. Like, and before he ever said it, I finished this sentence for him. I said, but that just go to show you, you could change like that.
Yeah.
And most people don't think they got the power. And sure enough, he said it. He said, your life could change overnight. Y'all just don't think that the power is there for you.
Yeah.
And I said, see? I said, that's exactly what I be talking about on the pod. And that's what convicted me, because I had this topic in my mind from when I was outside, but I didn't write it down. And I couldn't remember it when I was trying to think of it. And when I saw that, that's when I remembered it. And I said, no, we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Got to talk about it.
Yeah. And I mean, if this topic don't describe our last year and everything that done happened, like, man, like we talk about all the time, when did we lack anything? When did we both not have a way to and from wherever at whatever time? And even when we did for them short periods of time, we was never in no hotel. We was never back at our mom house. We was always at 21. So what I'm saying is, when things start to look up, I'm gonna sit from where I'm at and say it's only up from here. But not it's only up from here like I'm still at the bottom, like I got to go up. No, it's only up from here because of how great of a position I'm in. I'm gonna put this smile on my face and be glad to be up. To be glad not to be looking down thinking I'm so far at the bottom I can't do nothing but go up. No, I'm going as far as God will allow me to go.
And the thing is, you know why I'm comfortable saying that? Why you comfortable saying that? Because when you read his word, he promises you, if you submit to that, he'll take you further than you think you could get yourself. He promises you that. Like, it's not a, and that's why you can delight in it, and that's why you can be joyous, and that's why you can be happy, and you don't have to use that negativity as a fuel, because when you stop and when you do it his way, bruh, he's not gonna not do it because he promised it. He can't not do it. No. If he didn't want to do it for everybody, he wouldn't have promised it. But we don't, like Hamp said, are you allowing it to work for you? That's the question. Like, are you allowing God to work? Forget for you. Are you allowing him to work? Because once you start allowing him to work, I promise you it'll just go up. It doesn't have a choice but to go up.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast. I think this has just been in our conversation, but I'll say it here too. God was so much somebody of integrity that he showed us his integrity And it wouldn't have mattered if he didn't. like, I know. Everybody thinks, well, that would have just proved him right. Proved who what? It wouldn't have there wouldn't have been anything to dispute if it would have just been, I'm gonna start over.
Who is gonna check him? He's God.
Who was gonna do anything? We weren't even gonna know that he started over.
If we're here,
Let's say God see fit for the groups that have walked this earth before do end up here again. We wouldn't have known again. This would have been the same way it was the first time. It would have just been the first time for us.
and we wouldn't have even known the difference. But like, he told us that this is the original. I'm not starting over. And
Right.
I'm telling y'all I'm not gonna start over. And it's like, why? You don't have to tell us that, OG.
And another thing that fuels my happiness is if he can delight in his own creation, no one is not perfect.
I can do the same thing.
Why can I not be one of the imperfect? And I think, man, this is perfect.
This is great. This is beautiful.
If it don't get no better than this.
This is beautiful.
Look how beautiful life is around you. If you hearing me on this microphone, life's pretty darn beautiful.
If you got the internet to be able to hear this,
It's beautiful.
and I get it, you may be going through some crazy stuff. If you haven't listened to this podcast, please go back to the other episodes and just listen to the pain that we put on these mics. We are not two kids that came up and didn't go through a hell of a lot of stuff.
And I'm telling you,
we're not those guys who are talking from middle age or like middle class background. That is not where we come from.
No,
that's not where we come from at all.
No. You want we get on here, and we talk so real that if our parents listen to this, they could call us and be like, "Is that how you really feel?" And
my mom has.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's only a matter of time for mine do at some point. And I'm saying, if she go listen back to these episodes, she'll be like, "Is that how you feel?" And I'll have the pleasure of telling her, "No, that's not how I feel anymore. Life is beautiful.
I love my life.
It's beautiful.
I owe it to life. I owe it to God to love my life, bro.
I owe it to God to love the life that He gave me, because He didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to give it to me. And once I put up a big middle finger in his face, he definitely ain't had to keep letting me live.
We put middle fingers up to God every single day, and yet I still make it back home to get on my knees and beg for forgiveness.
Just because he allowed it.
Just because He allowed me to get back to it. He kept me from the time I woke up to the time to everything that led me back to praying again at the end of my day. Why wouldn't you be grateful for that?
And I owe it to him at that point to keep going.
Why wouldn't you be happy for? Why wouldn't you, but the people around me are doing great. Why wouldn't I be happy for them? But if I'm happy for them, why wouldn't I be happy for myself? I'm getting, because on top of living my own life that I'm happy to live and I'm grateful for, I'm getting to watch the people I encounter get better.
Yep.
find themselves. They're finding God. I'm watching that. That's an experience in and of itself. No, I'm gonna delight in all of this.
How crazy is it for me to be talking about I owe it to God to love my life?
I'm delighting in that. I know where he came from. I know where he came from. I'm talking about Maya. I was there for that. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to let him say whatever for however long he wants to, because I know where it was. I'm going to delight in the fact that it isn't that anymore.
Because, man, we never thought it was going to be anything but that.
And the truth of the matter is, I always believed it would. It's just somewhere along the lines, it may have went, I don't know.
The belief got shaky. The belief got tested.
Yep.
The faith got tested somewhere along the way.
Yep.
The faith got tested.
I find it interesting that the little kid me was always so positive and optimistic, and as I got older in early teens and I'd say about mid-teens and stuff like that, like I still had that same optimism and positivity, and that's just what I was known for. So when I fell away from that or fell off from that, people were so shocked that I remember like a bunch of people saying like, "Dang, he let life beat him down." We almost thought he was untouchable, and it's like, I mean, sure, right? Like, y'all thought I was untouchable, but it's not like I was. Like I'm just everybody else in that aspect. But there's a reason that one day I said I want to get back to the little kid that was so positive and optimistic. And then in not long after that, I said, no, I don't. I want to go introduce myself to me. I don't want people to be like, oh no, he finally acting like himself again. No. I want you to discover along with me that this is who I am. Now, I'm actually happy. And I won't say that I wasn't happy back then, but now I know I got a reason to be. It wasn't, oh, life is great. It's so great, so I'm going to just be that. Life is great because I've been battle tested. I've been through some stuff. I've met people along the way. I've lost people along the way, and I'm still here. I think this joy and this happiness is better than what it was before, because before it was, I'm just glad to be here. Now I know why I'm just glad to be here.
It's a real it really is a transformation, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It really, like, God talks about it, but we be acting like that's too supernatural. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, supernatural is natural, bro. It's natural when you start trusting in him and trusting in the supernatural to be able to transform like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a given. Why wouldn't it be?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't it be? Like, why wouldn't it be that anything that might have been like, you know, my grandparents they always tell me about the story of Job, and I'm feeling it right now where it's just like, you know, at one point in time, I thought I lost that happiness I had as a child, and like the joy I'm feeling right now, it's just like, I don't think I ever was like this. And it's like, that gives me the confidence to know that, okay, what he talking about in there and what he tell you in there, like, he promised it. And if you stick through to the end, he will show you that he's not playing. And so in knowing that he's not playing, you can do what the scriptures tell you to do and walk in full confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk in full confidence.
I was listening to a sermon, and one of the quotes I heard was, "All you got to do is last." And it hit me because it was like, last through what? Last through everything. Last. You just gotta last. You just gotta be here. You just gotta keep trucking. You just gotta keep going.
And ain't it amazing that the Bible tell you that he who is last shall be first in the kingdom of heaven?
So if you just last, you'll be the first to reap those benefits of joy. You'll be the first. You'll be the first to see that. No, in the beginning, there was the Word, and it was with God. Like all the like. That's the truth, the light, and the way. It's no coincidence that when you get to finding more out, when you get to seeking, when you get to looking for the truth in everything, you find out that no, life is beautiful. This is a privilege to be here. Period. But then you can say this is a privilege to be here, comma, in good health, comma, in a sound mind. Like you can get to listing and listing and listening, and then it's like, okay. I mean, after the first part, I was already ready to cheese from ear to ear. But now I'm starting to feel unstoppable. Now I'm starting to feel like I can do all things. I'm living now. You know what I mean?
It's like that. It's the Valley of the Bones story, man.
Yeah.
It's like where it's like they're walking, but they're dead, and then you just breathe, and you see the flesh stick to the bones, and they come alive again. And it's like, nah, like when you been dead, like you feel that when
Yeah,
you start
yeah.
to become alive again. Like
Yeah.
it's not one of those things where it's like, how do you know not only that God is real, but that the Bible that you follow is the right way? Walk down the path and tell me what you get.
I don't know
Because
that.
you gotta earnestly walk down. You gotta really hear the gospel, and you gotta believe it in your heart. And once you get that Holy Spirit in you, and once it start to transform you for real, you tell me he not real.
I don't think you even realize that you're dead until you start living.
No, for real.
You don't realize that you were living a life that was dead until you look up and everything you thought was holding you down doesn't have a hold on you. It never had a hold on you. All you had to do was stop trying to do it on your own.
Thank you.
All you had to do was give it all to God.
Thank you.
That's all you had to do. You didn't have to. It wasn't okay when Christian get a certain amount of money, or when Maya get his whole family out of. It was never gonna be that. It was, well, when these two kids realize that they can't do it on their own, and they come to me and they sit with me, they'll see. And throughout the journey, it's been, how many times we done had these off air conversations where it's kind of crazy out. Is it? Or could this just be your new norm? Because you finally starting to live. It ain't kind of crazy. it ain't even crazy until you just letting God be God.
Yeah. I needed to share that one though.
Yeah, hopefully the right ears are tuned into that one.
Absolutely. The right ears tune into us every week.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not they know it or not.
Yep. We keep cranking these gems out. These gems y'all ain't know y'all needed to hear until you heard them.
And it was all up in your eardrums.
Yep. We appreciate y'all for rocking out with us week in and week out as we get on here and we just live life through these mics. We're gonna get on out of here. We'll be back in the lab tomorrow. But until next time, gang.
Peace.